And so I like the challenge. People, that's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Who did Terrence Crawford fight his 11th fight?
I don't know.
Who did Arthur Beterbiev fight? Jake Paul has found a way to make himself cash cow early in his career to where we shouldn't care.
Jake Paul has become the fighter right now that everybody wants to fight because right now he is cash cow. He makes $40 million just off of Netflix.
He has found a way to do something with his following, get under people's skin to make people care about the fight.
Jake Paul is officially messing with danger now because at the latest press conference, cameras rolling, reporters watching, and a confused Anthony Joshua sitting across the table. Jake leans in, locks eyes with AJ, and boldly tells him, "I'll end you." And the crazy part is this isn't even a simple grudge match anymore. This is the same Jake Paul who was supposed to fight Gervonta Tank Davis at cruiserweight, now stepping toward a former unified heavyweight champion who has put actual giants to sleep. So how did we go from Tank versus Jake on Netflix to Jake pointing across the stage at Joshua talking wild? While promoters and pundits are quietly terrified about what fight night might look like, here's the rundown. When the Gervonta Davis fight fell apart, most people thought Jake's big Netflix moment was dead for the year. The Miami exhibition was set, posters printed, hype building. And then suddenly, boom. Domestic abuse lawsuit, legal chaos, promoter statements, we condemn violence. And just like that, the entire event was canceled.
Who is the biggest star of boxing? Who's Henry? Is going the king of the is my angel with me? Hip-hop star is rules the roof.
The keeper right there. My man, it's out the way. No.
Come on.
Jake lost his dance partner and Netflix lost its headliner. But if there's one thing about Jake Paul, it's that he refuses to fade away. Instead of crawling back to retired MMA fighters or random influencers, he did something absolutely nobody saw coming. He went straight up the food chain and secured the most dangerous opponent of his entire career. Not a lightweight like Tank, not an aging legend in his late 50s like Tyson, but a real, active, heavyweight knockout machine. Anthony Joshua.
Who is the biggest star of boxing? Who's Henry? Is going the king of the is my angel with me? Hip-hop star is rules the roof.
The keeper right there. My man, it's out the way. No.
And the moment this fight became real, everything shifted instantly. This isn't some fun crossover spectacle anymore. This is a fully sanctioned heavyweight showdown. 8 rounds, real gloves, real rules, and very real consequences.
He has people around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major. Like, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it at the moment, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, 120 on BoxRec you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight heavy. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turkey Al Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. Can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. How can you say no? How can you say no? What am I missing?
Now fast forward to the big face-off event. AJ on one side, calm, polite, perfectly media trained, talking about legacy and staying sharp before Tyson Fury, while Jake stands on the other side doing what he does best, selling pure chaos. At first, it feels like every typical Jake Paul presser, jokes, trolling, little shots about AJ's losses, about how he hasn't been the same since Usyk and Ngannou. But then the energy shifts. The size gap becomes insane up close. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches, usually weighing around 250 pounds on fight night. Jake, even when he bulked up for Mike Tyson, barely hit 227. And normally he's a cruiserweight, maxing out at 200.
Paul's talking about fighting Gervonta Davis, who's 135 pounds. And then on the other hand, he's talking about fighting 260-pound monster in Anthony Joshua. Listen, he's crazy enough to probably do it all if the money's right. But we're not really interested in waiting until 2016. And we're certainly not basing our career around a potential fight with Jake Paul. But if we were offered it, why not? I mean, it would be such an easy night's work, and it would be massive. And Jake's smart. Look, I know that we have our back and forth. Jake's improving as a fighter, and you have to respect the fact that he's dedicated not just to the business, but also to the hard graft of boxing. I still don't think he's particularly good, but he's a decent, some level fighter. But he's crazy. At first, I always felt that Jake was just using these people's names. I think he's got that many people around him that I wouldn't be surprised if he thinks he's got a chance against Anthony Joshua. You know, Jake, I watched him, Jake. You'll knock him out. Yeah. It's like, you know, but, you know, there's a difference between fighting Gervonta Davis, even Canelo Alvarez, and then fighting AJ. You know, the other two you can get just humiliated and schooled and beaten up a little bit. The other one you could be fully decapitated. So you've got to be careful and you've got to be smart. And I know you want the money, I know you want the big moments, but this ain't a game.
So Jake does what Jake always does when he's the smaller man. He gets louder, he pushes harder, and he tries to score the mental win before they even touch gloves. It's pure heat of the moment energy, emotions cranked to 100, and Jake leans fully into his villain character. He wants the clips, he wants the headlines, he wants people saying, did he really just threaten to kill Anthony Joshua? And the crazy part is it worked. The internet exploded with it. But it also triggered something Jake probably didn't think through.
Don't count him out. You know, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, you know, we could have a big upset, you know. But I think that AJ is too much for Jake Paul at this point. And he's bigger than Jake Paul, in my opinion.
Do you think it's competitive? A lot of people are saying if AJ doesn't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it'll be a huge embarrassment.
I don't think that's not the case, that he's gonna get Jake Paul. At the end of the day, Jake Paul has been training hard too, and you know he's a pretty good fighter. I don't think he would take him out in 2-3 rounds. I think maybe in the later rounds, or it might go to decision, you know. But I don't think that Jake Paul could take AJ out. I mean, or AJ could take Jake Paul. Maybe, you know, but. I don't know. It's just going to be an exciting fight. I think I want to see that fight, to be honest.
The Ring 4, November 22nd. Watch only on DAZN.
It woke up Anthony Joshua. Because here's the truth for AJ. This fight was supposed to be an easy payday, a tune-up, a simple runout. Like Eddie Hearn said, a chance to knock out a YouTuber for tens of millions, stay active, keep his name buzzing, and then walk straight into a huge showdown with Tyson Fury in 2026. But suddenly, all those safety warnings from pundits like Ariel Helwani and David Haye start hitting completely different.
The Joshua thing is crazy. Is that a real conversation? Jake's a fucking lunatic, and it's probably real.
I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxing conversation is gone forever.
Helwani literally said, the real question around this fight is safety. Not hype, not views, not legacy, safety. Because we all remember what AJ did to Francis Ngannou. One clean shot and the former UFC heavyweight champion was flat on the canvas, not moving for way too long. David Haye went even further, saying, if the referee isn't careful, an Anthony Joshua onslaught could be the last moment of Jake Paul's life. That's not normal pre-fight talk. That's genuine concern for men who've actually lived inside that ring.
If I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, he still wouldn't go past a minute. To be quite honest with you, and as a safety aspect, there's no way that fight can go ahead. At the end of the day, my God, how good does it make me look? Sir? He gets beat by Jake Paul. Well, that automatically makes me two-time heavyweight champion of the world, doesn't it? There's no proper way. I've got to laugh about it. How are we even talking about this? He got his nut boxed off by me a little over 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden he's talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. It's like, come on, like, you can't be serious. He can't beat me. I'm not Anthony Joshua, am I? So it's just ludicrous. It really is.
But from Jake's perspective, this is exactly the plan. He knows he's outgunned physically. He knows AJ has more experience, more power, better skills, and way more rounds under the bright lights. So Jake is trying to win in the one arena he's actually mastered, the narrative.
Jake Paul, we've seen what he can do, and at a level he's very good. You know, the people who's been fighting, he's been better than a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. He's better than a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he was better than what he was. But once again, these are guys who aren't current, who aren't, ranked in the world right now at heavyweight. We weren't Olympic gold medalists. You know, this is something completely and utterly different for Jake Paul. And I think, he lives his, it appears though he lives his life like he can make he's manifesting everything. And he's working up until now. But I think maybe this is a step too far for him. Dangerous contest, if you look at the fight that Tommy Fury had with, I thought Jake Paul beat Tommy Fury when they fought. It was a close fight. I think he put him down in the last round and thought he won the fight. But he didn't. He lost the fight on points. Now you're trying to, I know this fight was a little while ago and he's improved since then, but has he improved to the level where he can beat Anthony Joshua? I haven't seen anything to suggest that. And it's a crazy fight from Tate, but credit to him. If he is going to put himself in harm's way for everyone's entertainment and fight Anthony Joshua, God bless him, because he's taking it to the limit. Some people, when I was a kid and I said I'll be heavyweight champion of the world, everyone said you're crazy, and I made it happen. He's doing the same thing. He's not saying to be world champion. He's saying he's going to fight Anthony Joshua and he'll beat Anthony Joshua. He believes it, and if he can manifest it, then I'll be there ringside to see it in action.
With Tank Davis, the whole angle was about exposing real boxers and stepping into the lion's den with a massive size advantage. And that fight sparked a huge debate about clown matches, influencer boxing, and whether Tank was cashing out his legacy for Netflix money. Plenty of pros even said Tank didn't love the sport anymore and just wanted checks. But with AJ, it's a completely different situation. Nobody thinks Joshua is the one risking his legacy. People think Joshua is risking Jake's life. And when you break down the matchup, that's exactly where Jake's kill line becomes even more reckless. Anthony Joshua is a full-blown natural heavyweight. 6 feet 6 inches, a massive frame, Olympic gold, championship pedigree. Fighting at 245 plus and stopping dudes who weigh 260 and punch for a living. Jake Paul, at his core, is a cruiserweight influencer who has worked his way up well. To be fair, he's got real wins. Anderson Silva, Mike Perry, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., even a faded Tyson. He's got power, timing, discipline, and noticeably sharper fundamentals over the past few years.
First of all, kudos to Jake Paul. The cojones this motherfucker has. From a Disney kid to YouTube to... He can fight anyone and get views and make fucking money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony motherfucking Joshua. You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. I will say this though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him.
But there's a massive difference between boxing older, smaller, or shop-worn opponents and stepping into a ring with a fully locked-in Anthony Joshua. Even if some fans think AJ is past his absolute peak, the weight limit for this fight still sits around 245 for Joshua, while Jake will likely show up anywhere between 205 and 220. That's still a 20 to 30 pound gap, plus height, reach, and years of world-class, elite-level sparring on AJ's side.
Now, you've gone from a 250 pound world heavyweight champion to 135 pound 5'6". I mean, it's just bizarre. You know, you've got a cruiserweight fighting a light.
This isn't David versus Goliath. This is Goliath versus a guy who plays David on YouTube. And that's exactly why people like Ariel Helwani are asking, is this fight putting Jake at excessive risk of serious damage?
What happens when I think we both know, but for the sake of saying it specifically, if the two of them do collide in the ring.
Josh and Jake.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a single thing until I see him in the ring. I don't believe any. Even if they come together for a press, I don't believe it. I don't genuinely believe he will climb into a boxing ring with 10-ounce gloves on with Anthony Joshua. It won't happen. It can't.
Hypothetically, if it does, how long does it last?
As long as Josh wants it to. Simple as that. As long as he wants it to. The same way it did with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. The same way it did with Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou.
So why did Jake take it this far at the press conference? Part of it is branding. Jake built his entire career on being outrageous. Part of it is pressure. And part of it is pure desperation. The Gervonta fight getting canceled wrecked his momentum. The internet clowning influencer boxing. People saying he ducks real fighters. And now that he finally has a legit killer in front of him, he has to sell this like he truly believes he can win, or the whole illusion falls apart. So he talks big, he talks reckless, he talks like a guy who doesn't even recognize the phrase too far. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua is in a strange spot as well. For AJ, this fight is all about balancing business and respect. He knows this matchup has circus energy. He's heard other fighters call it that. But he also knows the money is unreal. This could end up being one of the biggest paydays of his entire career for an 8-rounder in Miami against a YouTuber who brings way more viral reach than some anonymous contender in a half-empty arena.
So we've got Anthony Joshua, AJ, you get me? What a legend. And we've got Jake Paul. He's a legend as well. Now, AJ is facing a lot of backlash because he's fighting Jake Paul. Understand, man. It's like football. You get me? Play for Barcelona. When you get older, you start going down a bit, and then everything is about money. Yes, run it up. Now everyone wants to see the Tyson Fury against AJ fight. We've been seeing it, but we've seen Alexander Usyk. He's been doing our guys wrong. He's been just winning. He's been in the way. So my take on this is dangerous for Jake Paul. Get me? A lot of people, Eddie Hearn, Dana White, let's done a full YouTube anyway. Let's watch the full YouTube because, you know, there's a lot of people that's reacted to it, you get me? So, full YouTube out now.
That's why Hearn keeps stressing that this is not an exhibition. This is a real fight, full Queensberry rules, 10-ounce gloves, no headgear. In simple terms, don't get it twisted, somebody can get seriously hurt in there.
Talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. Jake Paul apparently wants that fight. And he agreed to, I think it was 99% to 1, where Joshua gets 99% of the money and he gets 1%.
Jake Paul probably doesn't care about the money.
Well, he had plenty of money, and if he won, oh my God, if he beat Anthony Joshua, good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, that's a big if. I mean, Anthony Joshua, Olympic gold medalist, former heavyweight champion of the world. What he did to Francis Ngannou, good Lord.
Yeah.
Do you want that smoke?
Yeah, I just think it's all about the promotion or whatever. That fight's not.
Well, it's a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
Because Joshua's going to try to make an example out of him, for sure.
And will.
I mean, Anthony Joshua's one of the biggest one-punch KO artists ever.
Yeah.
So where does that leave everything after that wild moment? It puts Jake Paul right where he always wants to be, dead center of the conversation. Stephen A. Smith yelling, Ariel Helwani worried, pros calling it a circus, and fans arguing nonstop about whether he's fearless or completely out of his mind.
Did you see the fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami?
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No. Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. It's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people will watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. Then I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
And it leaves Anthony Joshua in a position we've never really seen him in. Not the hero, not the villain, but basically the final boss of influencer boxing. Is Jake reckless enough to walk straight into the fire? Absolutely. Is AJ smart enough to turn that recklessness against him? Almost definitely. So what do you think? Is Jake Paul really built for Anthony Joshua's smoke? Or is he talking himself into a beating he may never truly recover from? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to Fight Field, and I'll catch you in the next one.